The Dow is down about 30 points. All right. If you shop online or through social media, you've probably seen those options to buy now and then pay later. Chase Wilsey of Wilsey Asset Management explains what you need to know before you click that buy button. Yeah, I don't know about this, Chase.
Well, good morning. I know it's popping up all over the place. It's funny. I talk to people. Oh, have you heard of Afterpay? It's like, oh yeah, I see them online all the time. You know, they're out there. They're at a lot of different retailers now.
Yeah, and then especially at a time in the past year that money has been hard to come by for some people who are struggling to make ends meet. So it's a good option. It's a good way to go after those people, right?
I would say it creates kind of a new market of people. I mean, there's two kind of services I wanted to highlight today that are really heavily involved in this space, especially the online marketplace. The first one, I actually hadn't really dealt with them before, talking about Afterpay today. And what they do is they actually break out the payment into 4 interest-free payments. I mean, so it's nice. Let's say you want to buy a $100 sweater. Most of the time these options were for like large ticket items like furniture, but now, hey, you can buy a $100 sweater, put $25 down, and then every 2 weeks, you make another payment of $25. So you pay it off over 6 weeks rather than that initial payment of $100. So it's kind of an interesting way to go about online shopping, and I think it's a big benefit to retailers as well.
I learned early on in my years that nothing is for free. Nothing is for free. There's always a string or something attached to something. So what is the string attached to that? All these companies making money then?
Well, I mean, the other one I want to talk about too is Affirm. They're another company. Rather than breaking out over 4 interest-free payments, they actually typically do longer-term financing. So let's say you want to buy a Peloton for over $4,000. Whoa, that's a lot of money, right?
Right.
Well, you can buy that Peloton 0% interest over 39 months, just $111 a month, right? That's a lot more enticing than $4,000 up front. But the way that these companies make money, a little bit different from Afterpay to Affirm. Affirm, the way they make money is they'll actually charge an interest rate of 0 up to 30%. So you really have to be cautious and look at what that retailer is charging. You don't want to pay 30% interest. I can tell you that right now. Afterpay, on the other hand, what they'll do is if you miss a payment, there's actually a $10 penalty, and then every week that you miss it on top of that, there's an additional $7 charge as well. And they do cap it at certain thresholds, but be very cautious of that. I will also say I don't think that's the big moneymaker for the companies. The big moneymaker actually, I believe, comes from merchant fees. It's a great way for retailers to reach those new customers. So what they'll do is they'll charge those merchant fees. And I was looking up here, Afterpay, they actually reported that the average value of transactions is up about 40% is what companies can make off of using Afterpay. So it's a great deal for the merchants, even though they have to share a little bit of that with Afterpay.
Can you go back to the Affirm? Because I know that the Affirm with the Peloton was a really, really big deal over this because they were offering that Peloton 0% interest. You just pay this. Where did they make their money from? Are they hiding the building their fee into that payment that we're paying every month?
Well, no. So, I mean, you got to look again closely at the contracts. And I've actually used Affirm on 2 different purchases. I mean, they're at a lot of different retailers as well. Nordstrom's another one. I use them actually for my Casper mattress and my Traeger. Love to use the Traeger there. Look closely at the contract. There's 0% interest. There's no hidden fees or anything of that nature.
Okay.
You do have to be cautious. It is a normal loan. If you don't repay that loan, you go into default. That is going to be problematic to your credit score and so forth. But the big way they make money again is those merchant fees and then other loans where they do charge higher interest rates. Because if you don't qualify for the 0% interest, then they can charge a higher interest rate, maybe 5–10% perhaps.
I'm still trying to figure out where they make their money. So if you pay it on time, right? You pay it on time every single month, and they're either banking on you trying to default. And if you don't default and you pay it on time, then where are they what do you mean merchant fees? Like when you buy a Peloton, where's that merchant fee? They're charging Peloton?
Exactly. Peloton will pay for
it
because let's say that somebody can't afford a $4,000 bike or treadmill.
Yes.
Well, Peloton will say, hey, we'll work with a firm here to get you some financing, just $111 a month, let's say. We'll charge Peloton the fee so that we have the capability. Because what happens is a firm takes on the risk of that loan. If they default, that's problematic for a firm. So they need a little bit of cushion, a little bit of help. and that comes from Peloton. So it's a great service. I think it's beneficial to Peloton because you get the sales. Affirm makes a little bit off the merchant fees, and then the consumer as well can actually finance those options over longer term time periods.
See, there was a string attached, but the string is not attached if you pay it on time to the actual buyer. It's attached to the company, which I'm all down for. Let them pay for it.
Exactly. And as I say, you got to be very, very cautious with these
yes.
two things. I mean, I do see a lot of times people say, oh, don't go into debt, don't go into debt. I always tell people debt is like a tool. And it's, I'll say it's like a chainsaw. If you don't look at how to use a chainsaw, you're going to hurt yourself. It's going to be dangerous.
True.
Same thing with debt. Understand when you go into debt, understand the terms, educate yourself on how to properly use it, because it can be a great tool to accomplish different financial goals.
Chase, love your advice. Thank you. Saving us money.
Well, thanks for having me.
Fox 5 Weather, sponsored by your San